Hello, it's Talking Reds, it's match day, it's Liverpool in the beautiful sunshine. Well, not quite, but we are trying our best. We're feeling good because Liverpool are just 9 wins away from a Premier League title, and hopefully that first one comes tonight. I am John Gibbons, and with Josh Sexton and with Craig Hannan, and we're brought to you in association with NordVPN. They're partnering with us on Talking Reds for the rest of the season. They've helped bring it back. We're grateful to them. I'll do a bit more spiel on NordVPN and why it is the best VPN service around about halfway through. But in the meantime, how are you feeling about tonight, Craig? Feeling good?
Good, yeah. I think it's the beginning of the Big Nine, but the actual Big Nine, not the Big Nine from last season when it was a bit like meh. We might get fourth, we might not. We're not playing for anything. You know, it's now the light nights and Liverpool in a title race, and that's what it's all about. Like that's the thing I love. It's what we're in football for. So it feels like this is the beginning of it. You know, we got over Brighton. It was difficult. You know, difficult last 10 minutes to get through, but. This one feels like a winnable one. It feels like the one that should, you know, set up the Big Nine in a big way, and then we've obviously got bigger challenges to come, but you just need to get 3 points tonight.
Yeah, 3 points tonight. We're going together, Josh. I'm really excited.
Maybe
what could possibly go wrong? I can see my atmosphere.
Apart from loads. No, yeah, I'm dead excited. I feel like any opportunity to watch this team at the moment is something that's sort of like almost getting me out of bed in the morning. Like the way they've impressed us this season. Like every sort of man and boy, it feels like in this squad this season has sort of stepped up when they've needed to. And like I just get so excited to watch all of them now. To as Craig says, get into the Big Nine, to sort of live through these last couple of home games under Jurgen Klopp, because there's only 4 more left now, which is sort of really sad.
Fucking hell, Josh.
Honestly, I almost feel like I go into like crisis whenever I think about that. But there are just 4 left, and we need to, you know, celebrate every single one of them and celebrate this manager, because he's been amazing, hasn't he?
I preferred the light nights chat, so we'll go back to that. It is that feeling, isn't it, of a title race, sort of almost out of nowhere. Really, you talked about last season, Craig, and where we were as a team, and we all expected to be better this season. And listen, our standards for Liverpool Football Club are higher than what we saw last year, but I don't think we were necessarily expecting this monumental jump. And when it happens, and especially when you get one that maybe you weren't quite expecting, the city does come alive, doesn't it? There's so many people who come in who want to be a part of it, not just because of the Jurgen Klopp thing, but because we are going for it. We've got 5 visitors in today watching sort of Talking Reds. There's loads of people who were meeting sort of in the Glenbook after the games and stuff like that who were coming. It just feels like everyone wants to be part of it at the moment, be part of the excitement, and wants to get in the ground and support this magical team if they can.
Yeah, massively. I think because we started the season with no real expectations of being in a title race, and I think everyone was talking up City and they were talking up Arsenal and not really talking up Liverpool. It was more of a get fourth, you know, it's Liverpool 2.0, you know, we're at the beginning, we've gone through the transition, and now we've brought in this new midfield. You know, there was all of these reasons why at different times through this season we've almost tried to not talk ourselves out of it, but like level our expectations, not get too excited. Usually Liverpool are a football club that are, it's all about getting a bit too excited. It's all about like every season saying, right, yeah, no, this season we're going to win the league. Actually, this one we weren't, and here we are. Like there's 9 games to go. It's the light nights I'm talking about. It's and we're in it. And you know, the adversity that we've had to overcome, the refereeing decisions, everything that's been thrown at this team. And we're here. It's astonishing. I said it loads on the US tour that the most exciting bit about all of this for me is that not thinking about the fact that it's the end of Jurgen's time, it's actually the beginning of Liverpool 2.0. And they won the first trophy that they could win, and they're now in a title race. And if they win tonight, it's not a title race, it's a title surge. Like they need to, you know, they have the lead in that. You know, I know everyone's sort of thinking and watching the games from last night, and you know, you can see people tweeting and agonising over City going 1-0 up, and then the hope of the 1-1 and all of that. But like, it's on Liverpool. Liverpool win every game, they win the league. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I went out to watch last night. I met up with a couple of friends, a guy Burke over from the States who we've known for years, and you know, you are watching it, and Villa score that goal, and then you get hope. But you know, really, it was 2 home games. You know, Arsenal were playing Luton, who were obviously struggling at the bottom end. As soon as that Villa team came out, I think it was their 1982 European Cup team, which was unexpected. It was a gamble. It didn't pay off, but that's what they went for. But you know, as soon as you saw that, you just thought, like, listen, they're going to have too much, and there's going to be times where no one drops points and everyone sort of gets the 3 points. This felt like one of those game weeks. It's over to us now. I'm sure we'll do the business in this title surge that Craig was just beautifully called it. But I think, you know, the teams at the top are there for a reason, aren't they? And they win the home games more often than not, and that's what we saw last night. It would have been nice to have a favour, but it would have been a big shock, wouldn't it, if either of those teams would have dropped points last night.
100%, yeah, and Jurgen Klopp said it in his press conference yesterday. Like he basically mentioned that he'd watched the Leicester versus Man City game when they nearly won the title. What was that, 18-19? And he's like, I've not watched another one since then. Like he just doesn't put himself through it, because he goes into all those with the sort of the expectation that City and Arsenal are gonna win every single game. And I think I'm sort of trying to put myself in the same mindset. Like I watched the games last night, but at no point did I get particularly excited by well, I mean, there was nothing to get excited about in the Arsenal-Luton game. I switched over from that pretty quickly.
You're a psychopath if you're watching that Arsenal-Luton game, by the way. I did so much washing last night. Like all of the jobs that I don't want to do, I did them last night, so I didn't have to watch any of that football. I was burned by the City-Newcastle game. Right at the beginning of the year when De Bruyne comes on first appearance and they score like right at the death. I was burned by that. Like I went against my rule of don't watch Manchester City, like don't hold any sort of hopes on who they're playing, and so I haven't since. So no, loads of socks washed last night, loads in the dryer. Really productive evening. I was pretty productive.
I was pretty emotionless watching it though, to be honest, because I think I've got myself into the same mindset as Craig and Jurgen. They're obviously two of the greats of our generation, great minds of our generation. Like I was just sort of sat there watching me like what's going to happen here is 90 minutes of football is going to take place, and City and Arsenal are both going to win, and that's exactly what happened in the end. I was fully expecting that. Liverpool just need to do their job ultimately, don't they? And that's the thing that I think Jurgen Klopp is preaching over and over now, and they've got to this point where it's in our hands, and that's where you'd have wanted it to be by this stage of the season. Neil always talks about having it in your hands in sort of April and May time, doesn't he? And Liverpool have got to this position, so it's just up to them to capitalise on it now. And as you said, John, like I'm going into tonight full of confidence they will. Like I go into every game confident they will. There's been a couple of comments coming already about people being worried about Sunday and stuff like that. There's no reason for us to be worried about any game, because we've seen, as Craig mentioned before, every time this team have dealt with adversity this season, that they've sort of stepped up and been counted in those moments. So I back these boys in any walk of life, even if it is washing socks.
Just on that, on what Jurgen was saying about not watching the games, one of the things that he said, and he says it constantly in the press conferences, is he only sees opportunities, and I love that. Like every time I hear it, I'm like, yes, here we go, because that's how this Liverpool team should see the next 9 games. This is not like, this is not a threat to them, because we didn't expect them to be there. It's just an opportunity to go down in history. It could be. Numerous contributors have said it across shows, and I'd never thought about it this way, but actually it's probably true that if they manage to do the thing that we all hope they do, it could be one of Liverpool's greatest ever, in terms of the adversity we've talked about, in terms of the fact that it feels like we're at the beginning of this new team, the story around the end of Jurgen. Like what a way to close the book, as he calls it.
Yeah, absolutely. Do get your comments in, by the way. Really interested to see if you make any changes tonight, if there's anyone you bring in. So of the ones who didn't start on Sunday, would you be looking to sort of bring any of those? Let us know in the comments, and we'll sort of bring that in. I think Josh found something mad.
There's a fella called John Doyle who's asked any good podcast recommendations. This one's all right.
I tell you what, if you're looking for the best build-up anywhere to tonight's game, I would recommend the Anfield Wrap. If you download the app, you subscribe, and you get some fantastic stuff. So there's previews for tonight, and straight after the game today, there'll be the best post-match reaction from Anfield. Anywhere you can find post-match audio, we're doing from the Glen book, Cast of Thousands in the background. It was absolutely rowdy on Sunday. Expected it to be great again tonight. And then post-match pint will be with the Phoenix, which is just a little bit down the road as well. So great segue. Thanks.
Yeah, he's thrown that up and you've batted it away.
Absolutely. Home run.
It's a great time to subscribe. Obviously, it's a really exciting time. The content is absolutely brilliant. Everyone is looking forward to this title surge and what it means for Liverpool. And so, if you download the app, you'll get some free tokens and you'll be able to sample a little bit if you haven't already. You can also join, I think the word is, on YouTube. So if you just want our videos, you like the YouTube, you like the vibe, you feel comfortable here, you like being able to make the comments and all that, you know what you're doing, you can join and pay to join and get all the subscriber video content on YouTube as well. But we'll just go into a little bit of a break, and we just want to thank NordVPN, as I say, for partnering with us for the rest of the season. They have brought Talking Reds back, so what a gang of lads and lasses for doing that. But it is obviously a fantastic service as well. I've been using it for a while. There's a lot of reasons where I get some positive
feelings from it, and one of them is the internet security. So we've just been out there in America, the lads were talking about it. I don't know how you'd rate each other as roommates. Have a think about that. I'll bring that in. Pros and cons. But generally speaking, when we're out there, you're logging on in sort of different places all the time. You're logging on to Wi-Fi's, you're in airports or whatever, where you're not quite sure on the internet security. So having that VPN service for me did give me that little bit more peace of mind. But also, I think the big thing for me is being able to access sporting events or other things that are taking place that you can't, that aren't on telly where you are, but you can change your location online through a NordVPN service, and it does enable you to watch that. Now, I'd imagine most of the Liverpool games will be on telly for the rest of the season, but there are things. I noticed a bit of a thing that the Copa Libertadores, have I pronounced that right? Final. I'm getting a nod from Joshua, who knows what he's talking about there. That final's not on telly in the UK, which is a real shame. A lot of footy hipsters moaned about that on my Twitter yesterday, but obviously it will be on telly somewhere, probably South America, I would hazard a guess. And so with something like the NordVPN service, you can change your location, you can log in, you can watch that and enjoy it. So there you are. So that is one of the benefits. I've got to stop talking about Gladiators now as well. It's finished.
I was going to say I made a big mistake in not getting NordVPN when we went to America, because Northern were playing Scotland, which is a much bigger game than the game you've been talking about there. And Conor Bradley scored and I didn't get to watch it. I was just watching it on live score, and it was all because I didn't. So don't be me.
I mean, that's just good advice generally. Yeah, don't. If NordVPN want to use that as a job, don't be crazy. Download NordVPN. So if you go through our link, it doesn't only help us if you go through our link, but also you get 4 months free as well, and there is a 30-day money back guarantee as well. So if you use it for a while, you're not sure, you're sick of Conor Bradley goals. I mean, how could you be? And you change your mind. They're that confident you'll enjoy the service and you'll get loads of use out of it. Then there is that 30-day money back guarantee. But if you go to our link, it will help us. It's nordvpn.com/TAW. nordvpn.com/TAW. Nice one to them. So yeah, marks out of 10 for Craig. As a not on stage, because we know he was like amazing there. Do you know what I mean? But like general day to day.
I think in terms of like comedic values, it was pretty high. Like so, like kettles just aren't a thing in America. Like they don't really have milk with their tea. They don't really. There's few hotel rooms going to. They don't even have tea bags. And watching Craig try and work a coffee machine for genuinely about 45 minutes is one of the funniest ways you can possibly start your day. And there was a point where Craig was a bit like looking towards me for help, and I was like, I could help, but I just don't want to because I'm enjoying this far too much. So yeah, in terms of comedic value, he's high. In terms of moral support, I think leaves a little bit to be desired in some areas, but for the most part, good.
Yeah, anything you'd like to come back with, rating Josh?
He's a bit meh, to be honest. I missed Gibbo. No, man, I'm messing. No, it was fun. It was loads of fun. We had loads of fun, except for the times where he'd video me trying to use the coffee machine to make tea.
Oh, it was great for the rest of us.
Just get kettles.
Yeah, nice one if you came out to the American tour. We had a really good time. Nice one as well if you bought tickets for our end of season party. It is now sold out. Don't be moaning. We've given you loads of opportunities. We've talked about it every week. We've talked about it on the content. Craig was doing warnings. It was sellouts. So if you're one of these people, oh no, I haven't got my ticket. Listen, and that is you, by the way. That sounds exactly like you. It's now sold out. Listen, we'll try and pull something else together. It might not necessarily be, that night or whatever, but we're going to try and do sorts of other things around this season. But when we do put them on sale and you do want to come, it will be maybe a good idea if you haven't got one this time and you are left a bit disappointed to just sort of jump on it and do it a little bit quicker. We did give you loads of warning, but we're really looking forward to that Manford Hall the night before. It is completely sold out. We've got a fantastic evening planned, or we will have by the time we get there.
That was a lie.
I've got plans in my head. I just haven't shared it with anyone else. It's maybe me kicking shot glasses at the moment, but it's going to be really good. Team, Josh, what are you doing before you let me know what they're doing?
There's just another really funny comment, because obviously on the podcast to recommend, one of our members came on and went, hey, decent VPNs to recommend, which has really made me laugh. I was hoping to be able to tee you up again, but then you're such a pro, you just went straight into it anyway. No, in terms of team, like I'd like to see him make a couple of changes with the weekend in mind, but almost those sort of split changes that he likes to do, where he gets almost 4 players over 2 positions, a bit of rhythm. I'd like to see maybe Gomez at right back tonight and have Conor Conor Bradley save for Old Trafford. It sort of depends where Trent's at and these kind of things. He mentioned that Trent will be back in parts of training next week, so you imagine the United game comes too soon for him. But there's a couple of players that I'd like to see, getting a few minutes, getting a bit of rhythm. A couple of lads maybe getting a rest. I thought Conor Bradley was left pretty exposed at the weekend against Brighton in what was, it's probably Brighton's main threat in Adingra. I thought he was a really tough player to sort of keep under wraps, and Diaz was a little bit exposed on his left hand side as well. So maybe those two getting a little bit of rest for this one with a view to the United game in mind. But for the most part, I think you're going to be looking at it as though rhythm is the thing you can look towards here. 2 games a week for most of the rest of the season, or so we hope anyway. So yeah, a chance to be going strong in almost every single game. And listen, the squad's that strong that it feels like any team you put out can beat anybody.
Yeah, that's right. You will be confident with whoever sort of he plays. And it was interesting, Arsenal rested quite a few last night, obviously still get the result that they wanted. City put Haaland to the bench and things like that, so there's different ways of doing it, isn't there? And they've obviously got sort of Champions League to consider as well. From Liverpool, it will be interesting because normally Jurgen, once he gets to this start of the season, he sort of packs in the rotation, goes, these are my guys, and I think tonight will be a clear sign of whether that's the case this year.
I think this might be his last opportunity to give a few lads a rest, and I know we've got more players coming back and all of that, but I think you'll see a lot of 60-30 tonight, a lot of starters and finishers, and I would play Gakpo tonight. I'd probably still do Bradley and look to bring him off on 60 and have him that way. You'll want to see Curtis Jones get at least 20 minutes if he's going to be back. Same with Robertson as well. I think we're just in a really nice position now where we're able to look across the squad, given all of the adversity we've talked about, all of the fact that we've had to rely on so many of these players at different times through the season, that you basically trust all of them, even the young players as well. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of 60. I think there'll be changes on 60. I just don't know who. Yeah, which way he'll do it. Yeah. I think for instance, having Nunez to come on if we need him is a nice position to have, and then he's only got 20 minutes in the legs going into the game against Old Trafford. It's just a massive one on Sunday, and this feels like the last opportunity you'll be able to take a bit of a risk with the starting lineup.
And he can have about 7 shots in 30 minutes, Nunez as well. He just packs it in. He's sort of able to do that. Would you be tempted to start the birthday boy, Harvey Elliott, 21 today? Key the door.
I feel bad for Harvey Elliott because
2 L's, 2 T's.
I feel bad because every time we sort of talk about midfield options on Team Talk, I almost forget that he's a midfield option because he can be so many things to so many men, can't he?
And he's such a great impact. So.
Exactly. I think I've loved him off the bench this season more so than I've liked him as a starter, and it's not to sort of do down the contributions that he's made as a starter, because you saw when, particularly around the sort of League Cup final and stuff, how much he was putting into those games when he was starting. He would often come off as the hardest working player on the pitch, and you couldn't believe he was starting the next game again. It was that Luton one at home where I was like, I honestly, it feels like a crime that Harvey Elliott has to start this football match again because he played so many minutes around that time. So I'd be looking at him as a sub tonight, more for I guess the balance of the midfield is the way I'm looking at it. We've had a comment in there asking if Endo's injured, and there are a few rumours about Endo potentially not training. Yesterday the manager mentioned that he'd had a knock in the game at the weekend.
If he has, you're not taking a risk on it.
Exactly.
He's got 8 yellow cards as well. I saw him and Nunez both 8 yellow cards. Obviously, I think it's the next 3 games you can get a ban if you hit 10. So you don't want him going into these big games and having to worry about that. And
the midfield looked perfectly balanced at the weekend. And I think if you're looking towards the United game, that's another game where you do want the midfield to sort of have that perfect balance. It's one where I'd really like to see sort of Endo, McAllister and Szoboszlai getting the start in that one. So I think whatever you can do tonight to sort of negate for a few of maybe Szoboszlai and McAllister's legs a little bit. Gravenberg's obviously been an option in there. Jones coming back and stuff.
Which is massive. If you get a 30 from him, and then he comes into contention for Old Trafford, then because if Endo doesn't make it on Sunday, then Curtis Jones is your perfect one almost to bring in, isn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. And you only have to look at the City away game earlier in the season where I think Jones was one of the best players on the pitch. To be honest, I think that was around the time where Liverpool's midfield didn't really have this sort of balance that it does now, and actually it felt like Jones was the one who was sort of bringing that solely by himself because McAllister hadn't really got into things. Szoboszlai had hit the ground running, but was maybe starting to sort of slow down around that time. So I'd be looking to get Jones some minutes tonight, and then maybe look to ramp them up even more on Sunday.
I think given players like Gravenberch 30, obviously Jones as well. I think you were talking about in past seasons, the season we're going for the quadruple, where it got to a stage where Jurgen went, right, this is the team, this is the team, this is the team. I think it's slightly different this year, and I'm not entirely sure what the team is, if that makes sense, because we've had such a higgledy-piggledy season. We've had to rely on different people at different time. I think what he'd be looking for is rhythm from as many players as he possibly can over the next few weeks. So I think that's why you might see a Gakpo, because he'll need Gakpo for the Atlanta game next week, for instance. I think he'd be looking at it in that way.
Yeah. No, it'll be interesting to see who he picks, but whoever he picks, make sure we all obviously get behind them tonight. So if you are going to the game or whatever you're watching in the world, do obviously enjoy it. Do support the team if you are in the ground as well. And obviously, as I said before, straight after the game, we will be doing our post-match content. If you want to check that out, we'd love to have you on board. But a big happy birthday to Harvey Elliott before we finish. As I say, 21 today. I saw an amazing stat, Craig, which is that he's actually played more games for Liverpool up to his 21st birthday than Steven Gerrard had, which is incredible, really, when you think about Gerrard and what an impact he made so young. The fact that Elliott has played more games, if you look at what he's won already in a Liverpool shirt, the big moments that he's had certainly this season, it is some career he's already had, and he looks like he's going to go on to have in the future.
Yeah, massively. No, I love him. You just know, as a Liverpool fan, he'll be like beaming, knowing that he's got more appearances than Steven Gerrard by this stage. I think, at different times we've wondered how high Harvey's ceiling is. So obviously he breaks through very early, and so but he has a lot of work to do in terms of understanding the Jurgen's systems and how he fits in, and a bit more of the defensive work than what he would have had at Blackburn, for instance, whenever he was on loan. But he's just come into his own this season. He's just gone up a level tactically, but also in terms of how he impacts games. It's just been incredible. I don't know how high his ceiling is, but that's a compliment, because it could be somewhere up here. He could go on to be one of Liverpool's best if he continues at the trajectory that he has done. He's obviously got brilliant mentors in Mo Salah, and obviously Jurgen loves him. Be interesting to see what the next manager does, but I'd imagine they look at him and think, you're a really intelligent footballer and you've got the world at your feet.
Absolutely. I hope he has a good day. Hopefully we'll all celebrate with 3 points tonight. Any other business on the comments, Josh, before we close it off?
Just a couple of hellos and stuff, really. So Shane Hayes been on. He says, good morning from Nashville, up the Reds. Nice one for tuning in, Shane. Nice. We've got some sort of mad alarm going off in the background, which is interesting. JKE says 6 a.m. here on the East Coast in the US. Can't wait for the Reds to go top again. For some of us, it's still 6 a.m. in our brains as well, since we've got the US tour. So I can relate to that. And then just a few more things about the team. A few people sort of making shouts for McConnell in CDM. I saw one fella, Peter Kropotkin, saying Gomez at DM. He's really pushing the Gomez at DM thing, which I'm not sure I'm having that, Peter.
I think it's a perfect game for McAllister at DM. I know we're all worried about his legs and worried about injuries. He's become one of our sort of most important players. But I think with Sheffield United and how they'll be pinned back, he just feels like the perfect player to have in that position, in terms of not just what he can do as a six, but in the way he's able to create chances and impact from slightly further back.
I agree.
And then just a final one from James says, I hear Michael Edwards uses NordVPN to protect spreadsheets. He does use NordVPN because he's a very clever man, but he's far beyond spreadsheets now, Michael Edwards, isn't he? he's like head of the world of football or something, so he's not on spreadsheets.
Big job.
Yeah. Well, text in if you know what he's using. But obviously we know what he's been protected by, and that is NordVPN. Thanks a lot to them for partnering with us. Do check out that link again, nordvpn.com/TAW. It will be under the description of this as well. But thanks to you guys. Thanks to Ash, to filming. Thanks to our audience. And thanks to Liverpool for making this such an exciting season. Up the Reds.